Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the TVP 5051, a Tier 10 Czechoslovakian autoloading tech tree medium, a vehicle which I consider to be absolutely overpowered in its capabilities because it's an autoloader. It has a 1240 damage clip and surprisingly good DPM. I mean, sure, if you compare its damage per minute to every other tier 10 medium, it is the lowest. But again, it's an autoloader, and it's an autoloader with a 4-shell 1200 damage clip. If you actually compare this level of DPM to the average tier 10, it's still pretty good. And as long as you back into cover, you're not really going to have to worry much. The TVP features 8 degrees of gun depression, surprisingly good turret armor due to the troll triangular mantlet it features. It has a top speed of 60, a power to weight ratio which is ridiculously good. Really, the biggest downside of this tank is the reverse speed. I think that was the biggest nerf this vehicle received, because it went from being able to reverse at like 23 to now 17. It means that if you're in a situation where you dump a clip into somebody, they might have the opportunity to now push you. To be fair, 17 is still pretty quick reverse, it's just very bad for a medium, so that's as simple as it is. So here we are in our game on Winter Malinovka. And already I have noticed that the enemy team has an Object 260 and E50M in platoon, and I'm all too familiar with the NA meta to position my tank in a way that the E50M and Object 260 could YOLO me. So I've instead decided to put my tank in a bit of a different position. Now my teammate Floof has decided to go to a wonky position to try and outspot the enemy, and, well, you'll see what happens. But either way, I'm just gonna chill here. I'm gonna move up a little bit over to this flank, see if I can get a little bit of damage out. We got the Object 260, and, ooh, we got an Object 268, so I'm gonna move up a teeny bit, and boom, there you go, 315, boom, 611. That right there is the same damage as a Tier 10 tank destroyer, a T110E3, a Hori, a Grill 15, in a medium. And sure, I have a long reload to get those 4 shells back, even though I only fired 2, but it really doesn't matter. The fact that this tank can do all of this damage is still pretty impressive. So we're going to reload here. We got 5 seconds left. And we're going to go off to the side. We've got the Object 140. I was a little worried about the 268, but it's alright. I'm going to get some damage out. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Just like that, I'm now up to 1,655 damage. I like how that Object 140 is getting mad as well. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bruh. You put yourself in a spot where you were exposed from the elements, and, well, it rains quite hard. So, at this point, I'm just going to chill and cover. We only have 5 seconds left before we get our shells back, and I can see that, obviously, my teammate is going to get that player taken out. So what I'm going to do is move up here a little bit, and ooh, look at that, an E50M. 1, 2, and 3. Dead. 914 damage, and we back into cover. That's the same damage as a 183 right there. At the end of the day, I knew that the moment that E50M was spotted on the heavy flank, it was going to be a win, and that's why I actually ended up moving over to the 140, because the E50M was spotted on the heavy flank. And because the 260 and E50 both decided to send their vehicles, which should have gone to the medium flank heavy side, it was just an instant win because of the plays I was able to make. So I get 1 shell into the enemy 268. Unfortunately, the second shell goes into the dirt. But that's alright, I get 1 shell into the Object 260, 2 shells into the Object 260, and even though both low roll, that's still 550 health off of that player. And now we just back in the cover. I'm already over 3,000 damage at this point, but, well, this game's not a guaranteed win. We have 4 tanks, and they have 2. But they are both pretty healthy, one of which is a Kron, and another tank which can deal about 2/3 of my health in 1 shot. And unfortunately, Floof makes a poor play, pokes the BZ-75, and ends up dying. Alright, well, I'm aiming on the Kron. Shell doesn't go where I want it to, that's unfortunate. We have 3 shells, so it's still a potential of 930 damage. We get a, pretty bad 270 damage shell out. Alright, the Kron gets clear into my teammate, and I can see the BZ's not looking at me, so we get a 338 and a 660 damage bleed into that player. Now, at this point, I was very worried about that Kron rushing me, and honestly, if that Kron had rushed me, I probably would have died, and that would have been the end of the game. But for some reason, the Kron decided that that wasn't going to be the play that he makes, so I'm going to chill. I'm going to reload as much as I can. 3, 2, 1, and for some reason the Kron allows me to get the first shell into him, second shell into him, third shell into him, and fourth shell. Oh, wow, I'm very lucky that the Kron was bad, because if he wasn't, I probably and should have died there. But it's alright, I am alive, we're at 5,300 damage, I'm going to do Ring Around the Rosie, ooh, and the BZ-75 misses me. And because that vehicle has a very high alpha gun with a stupid long reload, it knows that I am going to out-reload him. There you go, a 345 and a 444. Just like that, we deal 5,748 damage, whip up 5 kills, and earn a victory. And this, once again, shows you why autoloaders themselves are just inherently better than single-shot tanks, because how could a single-shot tank have won this battle? That's the question you have to ask yourself, right? If I was in an E50M, sure, I would have been able to bleed the Object 140 a little bit. Sure, I would have been able to maybe shoot the 268, and I would have been able to shoot the 260, but the ability to push and deal 1,200 damage and then back into cover is what allows this tank to be so incredibly dumb. And you saw it. I mean, look at these clips that I was able to pump out with this vehicle. We shot the E50 for 900, we shot the Kron for 900, we shot the 260, and look at this, that BZ-75 we did 1,377 to. I don't know, I just find the TVP to be such an incredibly stupid vehicle. And I find that when a decent player is able to use the tank, it just dominates when given the opportunity. Now, that's not to say the TVP isn't the only overpowered autoloader. Honestly, I feel like the Bosch Otion 25-ton does do a lot of what the TVP can at this point. Not only does the Bosch Otion feature a ridiculously high DPM, 3,153 gun, which has as well 4 shells. It has less alpha, has 40 less damage per shot, so in total, it's 160 less damage in the clip. But still, it has a lot of damage potential from the Bosch Otion. And the biggest advantage is that not only is it a light tank with more view range, not only does it have a better power to weight ratio by quite a substantial amount and more view range, but better camo, but the biggest advantage is also the fact that this vehicle features shell reload boost, which means that you can dump the clip so much faster in this tank, right? The Bosch Otion has a base intra-clip of 2.22 seconds, and with the buff of shell reload boost, it means you can do the whole clip in less than 4 seconds, which is insanely overpowered. And the TVP's intra-clip, as we can see, is, while very quick at 1.88, it's still, it's going to be back and forth between the shell reload boost on the Bosch Otion. In general, I still love the TVP, though. Its biggest advantage is the gun depression and the fact that it still does have a bigger clip, and plus it has 410 HE damage, which means you can literally deal 1,640 HE potential if you go up against a Waffenträger Panzer IV or a grill that's not running small, which is kind of overpowered as heck. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and let me know what you guys think about the TVP in the comments. I think this is an insanely overpowered tank, and I always will, because of the clipping potential and everything else it has going for it. See you all in the next one. Bye-bye.